Hello, this is John Ramsey, and this is my big comeback. I've got one of my favorite people here today, Doug Crosby, who is a District 3 county commissioner. But that's not really where I know Doug from. I know him more from that wonderful restaurant, Granny Cantrell's, because I like fried chicken and I like the food, and I've been eating there for a lot of years. Doug, tell us a little bit about how long have you been in the restaurant business first? Let's talk about that.
June will be 24 years. I've been
Has it been that long?
23 on 23rd Street. That's
Wow.
right. Yeah, moved back here in '02.
Are you from Panama City originally?
Well, I moved here in the fourth grade, so I feel like I am. My
Wow.
father, we moved here when I was in the fourth grade. He was hired by, at that time, it was Southwestern Forest Industries. My father was a forester, and he was in land management, and he moved here as a land manager before the mill, and he managed several million acres in the southeast, and we moved back here for that. And I was in the middle of the year in the fourth grade. I went to Northside Elementary.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yep.
Now, did you lived in Atlanta before you came here?
No, South Georgia.
South Georgia.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
South
What
Georgia.
part? What town?
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. I don't know where that's.
It's where
exactly.
Kings Bay Nuclear Submarine Base is now.
Oh, okay.
It
Yeah.
wasn't there. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
they brought the first sub in the year we left.
Wow.
So that's where, and there used to be a paper mill there. And so that he was there.
The paper mills on the south just kind of tied everybody together,
They did.
you know, and
They sure did.
and St. Joe and of course the mill in Panama City were some of the biggest. I mean, they were big mills and a lot of that going on. I remember having, and I don't know if you know who this or not, but there's an old preacher by the name of Lester Summerall, very famous preacher, and his dad actually came here in the early whatever it was, 20s or whatever, and built the paper mill. He was one of the machinists that built the paper mill. And I think a lot of people did not realize how many people that connected to our community. You know?
Right.
And,
I mean, it's for many, many years, it was the heart of the
Yeah,
community. I mean,
yeah.
the biggest employer and a lot of different roles.
well, I remember saying as a kid, it'll never go away. And certainly it did. You know, times change.
it sure
You
does.
think Hurricane Michael and the deforestation had anything to do with that, or was that before Hurricane Michael?
I think the world climate actually contributed to it more, just the availability of cheaper products
Yeah.
overseas and
Yeah.
cheaper labor. And I think that all those things put these mills in there. And it's an old mill and it had a lot of maintenance issues and a lot of upgrades that needed. I think
Yeah.
all those things just over time built up to be, in my opinion,
Yeah.
more than they could overcome.
It was there for such a long time, and so many people, so many families worked with it. And, you know, we lived on that side of town, Callaway, because my father was Air Force. We came here with Air Force, and then he actually retired and took his first civil service job at Tyndall. And we didn't have any relatives that lived here, but we liked the town because of
Right.
the size, and it was a nice place, and we just never left. So it became home.
I tell you, moving here that young, even though I remember living in South Georgia, this is home. I would not
Yeah.
want to live anywhere else.
I love it. I love
I
it.
do too. I do too.
And now you're a county commissioner. How you liking that?
I love the job.
It's great.
As crazy
That's
as that
great.
sounds,
That's
I love
wonderful.
the job. I love the issues. I love helping people. I love
Yeah.
being a liaison between people in the machine, the government machine.
Yeah. They
And
need that.
They need that.
They need that. So you're District 3, so like the area of Kings Point, to how far over?
Geographically, basically, these are rough figures from basically the bridge, from the Hathaway Bridge, over to the Callaway Curve, north to about Baldwin Avenue,
That's a big area.
and south to, I have downtown, but not the Cove. So it's kind of carved out that way. So, and
It's a big area.
It is a large area.
Yeah, well populated. So
It
you got
is.
the college, the Sweet Bay, all of that
Correct.
in there, and and then it divides at the bridge, huh?
That's correct.
That's a lot to take care of. A lot going on. A lot of construction going on around there.
Absolutely.
A lot of development.
A lot of growth.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You know, I've seen all that develop. You know, I live in Sweet Bay, and I've lived in Kings Point before I moved to Sweet Bay, and so like all of those apartments back there and all that. I mean, all that was just for so long, just wide open. So a lot of changes and all.
Big changes. Absolutely. And,
But I love
challenges that come
I
with
love
those changes.
the 390, the highway widening and all that. That's made such a difference.
It has. It's
Yeah.
a quality of life issue for those
Yeah.
that live over there.
Yeah.
It really is.
Publix. I mean, It's made a really nice area, and we liked our house in Kings Point. I wish I could have picked up that house and moved it over to Sweet Bay because I like the house, but I love the Sweet Bay neighborhood. I liked all we wanted Olivia. She's in high school. We wanted her to have friend groups and all that, and that's exactly what she's got. She's got a whole gang of teenagers that she hangs around with.
Lives there, and my mother lived there.
Oh,
yeah. The house that I grew up over in Forest Park was heavily damaged in the hurricane, and it was an older home. And father had passed, and we encouraged her to downsize and get something new, not so much maintenance and yard upkeep and those type of things. So it was a blessing when she found a home and moved in there. And she has made so many friends.
It's a great little area.
It is really good for her. It's been good for her.
I like to see that. I like to see neighbors interacting and hanging out with each other and all. And it's nice to see that. And the way the neighborhood's made, it encourages you to get out. You don't have much yard. Go to the pool. Go hang out.
Common areas.
Yeah, common areas.
Yes.
And I never thought I would like that, but I actually do like it.
Times change.
Times change.
As you get older, your perspective
the older
changes.
I get, the more I want to hang out and the less I want to do yard work.
Amen.
So it's perfect for that. So 24 years there at Granny's. I mean, that actually shocks me because I remember when it opened, but I guess I've been around a little while because I love it's one of my favorite restaurants. And but 24 years shocks me. I mean, I really didn't realize you'd been open that long. How is the restaurant business?
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It is one of the hardest businesses.
I had a businessman tell me one time, stay away from the 2 R's, restaurant and retail. Really?
Wise person.
Really?
Wise person.
Told me that. And because I've always heard restaurant is one of the hardest to make a profit in, because the costs move up and down. Staffing is hard. I mean.
Well, the story, the way I came there is really an interesting one. After I got married to April, I landed a job with State Farm Insurance in Atlanta. So we were away for 5-6 years, I guess it was, in Atlanta, and I was working up there. And my father-in-law, April's father, Terry Cantrell, who's been a mentor for me for forever since I got to know him. He actually moved here in the mid-'70s with Chick-fil-A. He opened when the mall opened in the mid-'70s, whatever the year it was. He actually opened the Chick-fil-A there.
Wow.
Yes. So he was in the restaurant business, and we have 4 Chick-fil-A's now in Bay County.
Yeah.
And both those operators, one operator runs 2 and the other operator runs 2 also. Donald Adams has 2 locations, and Walt Rose they both worked for Terry as teenagers.
Wow.
In the mall and that restaurant. So that's where the restaurant background came from.
Yeah.
Well, one day I was at work in Atlanta, and he would call me every day. He's just that kind of person who reaches out, and he's a great networker. Yeah. He called me and he said, "Hey, I've got an idea. I found this little restaurant that I want us to go in and run, to buy and come in together and run it. I want you and April and the kids to move home." Oh. And I was like, "Wow, that sounds pretty cool." And I went home and told April, she said, "You've lost your mind.
Oh, really?
You don't know anything about the restaurant business. I grew up in the restaurant business. It's a hard life."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. It kind of popped my bubble a little bit. But we spent the next, I would say, 6 or 8 months. We prayed about it. We had some things that doors that the Lord had to open for us for that to happen, and He opened every single one of them.
Wow.
So that was really, at that point, we both knew. That it was His will.
Yeah.
It was where we should be.
Beautiful.
So we moved down here, and I jumped into the restaurant business, and the next 5 years were probably the most difficult in my entire life.
Yeah.
No,
it's brutal.
No, not probably. They were.
It's brutal.
And it was hours that I had never anticipated, just for me to wrap my arms around the animal that it is, because it is. It's an incredible, and to go from. You go from a corporate atmosphere where you have people that think one way, and you go into the restaurant business was a whole different way of thinking, and the way to motivate people changes, and all those different dynamics are so different. And it took me.
Do you think staffing is the biggest issue?
Absolutely, without a doubt, staffing is the number one problem in a restaurant. It is ongoing. It's always changing. I'm very blessed. I have a lot of staff who've been with me. I have staff who've been with me over 20 years.
Wow. That's
multiple.
Says a lot. That says a lot.
And I even have a fry cook that's been with me 18 years.
That says a lot.
It does. So but staffing is, and being figuring out how you motivate people. It's not always money, the motivation.
It's not always money. No.
And figuring out those dynamics and how that fits into people's goals in their life is really something that I had to learn. I had to make those mistakes.
About how many staff do you have there?
I have probably roughly 36.
Yeah.
3 shifts, 6 days a week. We're closed on Sundays.
It's a lot.
And it's a lot of people.
It's a lot to cover.
It's a lot of people, and there's a lot of room for waste and a lot of room. I mean, it's a game of pennies.
Food costs, big changes this last couple of years.
It's been really challenging, really. Yeah. And obviously our goal is to keep our product affordable and that people can, a place they can go and have a really good meal with lots of vegetables and protein options and all those type of things, but yet be not break the bank.
Well, I mean, even a seafood buffet on Fridays, which me and you know my good friend, the late Apostle Ball, we loved it. Yes. That was one of our Friday places, and I mean, it's the same price as the and that's
a splurge for us.
Yeah, that's expensive food.
It is. It's a splurge for us as far as our end, but you know, for our customers, that's really something that they. I mean, it's Friday's a little different, a little more special. Going to the weekend, you want something a little different, and that's really the goal.
It's always been one of my favorite restaurants. Really, y'all do a good job with it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, like when you put on the county commissioner hat, this is your first year or second year?
November was the end of my first year, so I'm into my second year.
Into your second year. How's that been? I mean, does it surprise you?
I've heard the analogy of drinking out of a fire hose.
Yeah, a lot.
The first year was definitely that way. And it's, I really enjoyed it. I think I needed it personally, being in the same industry, in the same building, looking at the same things every day. I think you fail to see things after a while because you become used to whatever is in front of you. And I think personally and professionally, I needed the perspective to step back and actually focus my attention somewhere else. So when I walk back in there, maybe I can see things better with a fresh set of eyes and things that I may have overlooked, maybe I won't overlook. But personally, that's been really important for me.
Well, and you think of Bay County, I mean, we're still in recovery from Hurricane Michael, which I don't care what anyone says, my church ain't done, and a lot of places aren't done. We're still in big recovery. 2 military bases. We're in one of the fastest growing areas in the nation, the Panhandle of Florida. So that's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. And I think I'm just now beginning to really get the gist, I don't know if that's the right term, of what the job entails and the weight of it. Yeah. In the beginning, you're just going through the motions because you're treading water. Yeah. You're just, trying to figure out how to survive and make sure you don't make any big mistakes. But once you really start to be able to wrap your arms around it, you start to get the weight of it. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a lot of responsibility.
It's a lot of responsibility. It affects a lot of people's lives. And I know that I think all of you have a whole life, a whole business that you're still got to do on top of the weight of the whole county and all the decisions, because there are no days off with being county commissioner.
There's not. And but it is so rewarding. And there's a lot of ways, believe it or not, that in my mind that the two converge. Yeah. Being in a restaurant business, I'm a customer service representative. Yeah. Well, that's what I am in the county. Yeah. I'm a customer service. Well, there's more to it than that, but that's a really important aspect of it. And I pride myself on, if someone reaches out to me, that's number one. Yeah. If they have a problem that they feel is important enough to reach out to me, I make that a priority to get with them and do everything I can to help them. I may not have the answer they want, but I'm going to get them an answer. Yeah. And we're going to try to work through that together, and maybe I can point them in the right direction, or,
who I knew years ago was John Robbins. Do you remember John Robbins?
I do not.
He was a commissioner for years. It was Bell South for years, was the president of Bell South, and just a great person. And, I talked to him one time. He was a commissioner for years. And I said, what's the hardest thing about it? He said, the hardest thing about it is, and this is what he said. He said, he's like, with every decision, I feel like I make a friend and an enemy. You do. But somebody's got to decide. He said, they put a question in front of you. Should we do this or this? You have to decide one way or the other. And every answer makes one side mad and one side happy.
That's exactly right.
And he said, I feel like as a commissioner, I'm gathering these enemies for doing my job. I mean, I don't have the luxury to say I have no answer on this. No, I gotta vote.
Well, he is exactly right. And because of that, I find myself a lot of times, and sometimes it's not always a right and a wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's,
you got to go one way or the other.
You got to just make a decision. And that's where I fall back on where my faith and my belief, and just whatever I believe what is right for most people is what you have to go with. What is going to do the best, the most for the most people. And that's a difficult situation, and it's all the time that it comes up. It's not occasionally, it is constant.
Are y'all given like certain tasks or areas that you're over as commissioners? Or is there a particular area that you're been assigned to?
Well, we serve on different boards.
Yeah.
We're required to serve on. All of us serve on the Transportation Planning and Organization, the TPO board. All of us serve on that one. But then we have 2 other boards that we're required to serve on, and those may be anything from TDC. It may be I serve on Early Learning Coalition. There's several different boards that we're required, because a lot of those are governmental entities that require a local government to be on the board at some level. And so we do have those, but as far as within the county, we have the whole thing is open to us. I mean, whether it's from roads and bridges to any issue that comes up, we get involved in it.
Yeah.
And people think that just because we have districts, the districts really don't really mean anything. Because think about it. When you vote for a county commissioner, you vote at large.
At large, yeah.
And so we genuinely serve at large.
Yeah.
So if someone calls me from the beach and they have an issue, I don't feel comfortable saying you need to call Claire Peace or Doug Moore or whatever part of the area.
If you can help, you'll try to help.
Absolutely. And I think that's our role and our responsibility, because it's really not, we have an area that we focus on, if you will, but however we serve the county at large.
Great. That's fantastic. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to connect your organization with an audience that is eager for inspiration? The My Big Comeback podcast, hosted by John R. Ramsey, shares powerful stories of resilience and redemption, featuring guests who have turned life setbacks into major comebacks. New episodes drop the 1st and 15th of every month. For those interested in being a part of this community, sponsorship opportunities are now available. To learn more, contact Meredith Cobb at meredithcobbhwc@gmail.com. Let's make a big comeback together.
I'm back here with Doug Crosby. We've been talking about all kinds of things. His 20 plus years, 25 years restaurant, and now he's a county commissioner. And, there's a lot goes on with how people wind up in place. So, you're in the restaurant business, you become a county commissioner. What's one of the toughest moments at all? I mean, if you were asked me, I would say that Hurricane Michael was one of our toughest moments, losing our sanctuary and going through all that, still going through it. That's one of our toughest moments. How about you? What was your toughest moment?
Well, there's a few. As far as the restaurant is concerned, the hurricane was difficult also on the restaurant.
Were y'all closed for a while?
We were.
How long were you closed?
We reopened, I think, the first week of December, and that was really because we were able to secure. The way the damage was to the building, most of it was in the dining room. The kitchen was functional, so we were able to do some catering for the city, and that really helped us get back on our feet. And we opened, and I used to connect to my wife as an interior designer, and she was able to pull some help from neighboring counties, contacts she had, and we got sheetrock and flooring and paper and wallpaper and some things done really quick. And so we were able to open pretty quick. We were one of the first ones back open, and that was huge. But then COVID came along, and that was extremely difficult.
That was terrible.
I think it was worse than, as business wise, it was worse than the hurricane.
Well,
At least the hurricane, everybody knew what was going on.
Restaurants, people gather. Churches, people gather. And then they pass a do not gather law or order, whatever it was. Difficult.
And you still got employees who need to eat and they got to pay their rent. It was an extremely difficult time.
Tough.
It really, really was.
I forgot about that. And COVID was hard. It was hard on restaurants.
It was.
Hard on restaurants, hard on churches, hard on any place where people are gathering up. Did y'all do like outdoor dining and stuff during COVID?
We did. We would bring it out to your car. You could come up, and we tried everything. Just
trying to keep your people working.
The layout of our building made it very difficult to make
Yeah.
any of that really work
Yeah.
on a level that would be significant.
Yeah.
It was really difficult.
I guess so. What about some other areas of your life? What was the most difficult part?
Well, as far as county, if you want to talk about the county, the one we're going through right now has probably been one of the most difficult ones.
Really?
The issue with the TDC has been really
That's a big stuff.
It has been.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
It's a lot of money goes to the TDC.
It is. It's
I think people were shocked when they heard those numbers.
And for me, personally, the hard part for me is that public trust is so difficult when you run a government.
Yeah.
And that is so. I just hate it. I just hate that the public trust is eroded. Yeah. And that's in our whole country. That's in any government you look at. And that the loss of that public trust just makes it so difficult when the vast majority of your public officials really want to serve their community and do what's right. And then you have something come along that just destroys
kind of derails it.
It derails it. Yeah. And that's really difficult.
Yeah. Well, and with your county responsibilities, I mean, you face a lot of with the growth that's going on, a lot of issues with zoning and stuff like that.
And those are growth pains. That's a constant issue. And one of my focuses, one of the things that I'm really concerned about is the amount of growth that we have coming in this area and us being able to meet that need. Yeah. I mean, you look at utilities. Infrastructure, correct. You look at utilities, water, sewer, roads, all those things. And I mean, we're growing up the 79 corridor, we're growing up the 77 corridor, the new hospital.
Big stuff.
It's growing in every direction. And the length of time that it takes to get infrastructure in place is so extensive that if you're not planning ahead, I mean, you're already behind.
I know I met with someone talking about the 390 expansion, going out to 231, because right now it stops at Highway 77.
Right.
And of course, the next phase, when it goes out to 231, is going to come right in front of the church. Right. And we were talking about some of the ways they're designing it and this and that. But with me, we want to make sure that we've got a turn in right there, because I've seen businesses basically get starved out because people could no longer get in.
Can't get there. Can't get to them.
And we have a large school, lots of parents, hundreds of parents going in and out, and we want a good, safe way for them to get in and out. Right. So I'm trying to make sure they consider all that. And, they're still in the planning phases, and I don't know how many times they've studied it and done. It's been a long ordeal.
The board that I was telling you about, the TPO, we actually, a lot of it is informational as far as with the DOT and, that their plans go out 40 years. It's amazing how far out. Yeah. And the dollars that are involved in these projects are just astronomical. And there's 3 phases to the 231 expansion. And one of the things that came before us was, do we want to move up the 390, the last leg of 390? And we voted, it's been a couple months ago, to move that in front of the 3rd phase of the 231, because we think that's more important.
It's a real bottleneck right there.
It really is. It really is. So it is. But everything that seems that the DOT and is involved they're all long-term issues, and it's frustrating when you're sitting back and the need. Yeah, but the dollars just aren't there.
It really bottlenecks right there, and you've got with the school, North Bay Haven at the end of the road. Yes, I mean from 3 to 5 o'clock, you can't get out on that road.
Forget about it.
And I got hundreds of parents trying to get in and out. It's difficult.
Right,
it's difficult. What about the overpass on Harrison Avenue in 231? Is that part of that whole 231 project?
That's the first. I think that's phase 1.
Yeah. How soon will they be started on that? Do you know?
Malfunction Junction.
Yeah. It's a lot coming together in one spot. Yeah.
Well, the land acquisition was and what has happened is that as time ticks on and things have gotten more expensive, the money they've allocated has run out before they anticipated it. So I think that's in the next 5 years we're going to see that coming together. Yeah. But a lot of the right of way is already it's already happened. So that's one of the most expensive parts, believe it or not, is the acquisition of the right of ways.
Yeah, it's a lot to buy.
It's a lot to buy, and it's expensive. So I'm hoping we're going to see in the next 5 years, we're going to see that.
Well, and then you incorporate the train tracks and all that. That's always super complicated.
It is.
People don't understand that.
I've seen the plans.
The
when it's
railroad
done,
stuff is complicated. You know.
when it's done, we're all going to be very happy. It's going to change the dynamics of downtown and the access to getting to downtown.
Yeah, and well, if you think of like an ambulance trying to get across and a train blocking them, whatever, it can be a difficult thing. So, you know, it's one of those things that's hard for people to balance. And you know, no one likes road construction, but it's part of growth.
It's necessary.
It's just part of growth. I mean, I hated the whole 390 project. Now I love it. You know,
That's right.
Now it's fantastic.
You hated all 5 years of it.
I can get all the way across town in just a few minutes.
Right.
You know, it really
nice.
moves. It really moves some traffic. You know, I jump out right there by Publix, and I'm over to the church in no time. You know, so it's a
well, it sure changed us leaving Kings Point on Frankfurt. That light, I used to sit 3 cycles to pull out.
Going to school in the morning was rough.
It was
that light. So, you know, when you look at the growth of Bay County, what else would you like to see in Bay County that's coming, or what do you see as far as growth that we can look forward to? As far as 79's building up real quick. What about this part of town, Callaway, towards the Tyndall, all that?
Well, I think as Tyndall continues to expand, that's going to take care of itself. The need is there. Yeah. You know,
new bridge
is coming.
Which is
a taller bridge.
Yeah. Way overdue.
Which you know, with the shipbuilding, right around the corner there, they needed a taller bridge. Yeah. Because right now they have to leave the superstructures off the ships that they build in Allenton to get under the bridge until then they move them somewhere else. It's going to change a lot of things, and a lot of this that we're talking about, the importance of jobs and industry. I mean, that can't be underestimated. The importance of it is so important that people have a place they can go and make a decent wage. Yes.
Well, because housing,
so
when you look at housing. I mean, I don't know how some people make it.
I mean,
because it's just,
either, John.
I mean, things that, used to be, the days of renting an apartment for $500 a month, that's long gone. I mean, you're talking about starting at $1,500.
I was going to say to 2,000.
And for a working family, it's tough. I mean, my father was an enlisted man with 5 kids. So, I say sometimes we grew up somewhere between Captain D's and Captain Anderson's. We were right in the middle there. We were like
that term.
I was on the middle bus my whole life. We weren't poor, but my dad had to really work to to keep our heads above water. And I think of now, I don't know that he could make it, with what it is now, because things it seems like the jump from right before the hurricane, it was crawling up. It was moving, but it made a big step from the hurricane to here. Things that were $700-800 a month, doubling.
Absolutely.
And that was, I think it left a lot of people behind, and I think it's difficult. You can't make it on one income. Yeah. You can't.
And you think about that exact thing you just described. Businesses experience the same thing.
Absolutely.
And so does government.
Absolutely.
And I hear that a lot. People want to see the county to be able to lower their taxes, but people don't realize that the insurance is the power. Everything that you're experiencing at home is we're experiencing the same thing at all the properties. Yeah. And it's our goal and our job to be the best stewards of those dollars that we come in and but it's difficult. It's difficult.
Have you at the county level talked about this, what the governor's talking about with eliminating property taxes, which, I've read some of it from the governor, and they're not talking about eliminating all property taxes.
Right.
They're talking about what you have homestead exemption on, being able to eliminate property taxes on your home. How much would that change the landscape on the counties and the cities?
I think it's going to be significant. I really do.
I mean,
and people are used to a level of service.
Yeah.
And that comes at a cost.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a reality.
Yeah.
And I just,
is it doable?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's a tough one.
I do not.
Because he's talking about billions and billions of dollars.
It's going to have to be made up somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean,
either services are going to have to be cut, or
it's got to be made up somewhere,
or the business taxes and stuff are going to have to go up.
Absolutely.
So people that because what they're talking about is if you have a second home, something like that, you'll pay taxes on it. If you own commercial property, you'll pay taxes on it, but they're talking about just the taxes on the homestead, which I get would be a significant saving. I think of like my mom and dad. My dad just passed. When he retired, everything's covered. This is great. But he lived a long time.
Right.
And he started seeing like, oh, it's not great. Oh, this is getting much. This, I didn't expect it. So, towards the end of his life and, left my mom taken care of and all, but still she has to be careful with her money because what they thought was going to be a great life turned out to be not as much as they expected. They weren't expecting the insurance to go that up that much. They weren't expecting the taxes, the groceries, all those things that they planned on at this level turned out to be this level. Tough.
Well, I call it the controllables.
Yeah.
There's things you can control and there's things you can't.
Yeah.
There's things you can't, or it is what it is. And you have to.
What it is.
It is what it is, and that makes it difficult. And I think just people don't realize that government experiences the exact same things. And we're not just rolling in money. We try to take every dollar. Genuinely, it is. I don't know of anyone personally that does take it seriously to apply the money in the best and most prudent way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and we experience the same thing at with the school. We try to keep our prices as low as we can for our parents,
right?
But we still have to try to pay a living wage to all of our staff members, try to keep things nice and upkeep. Our groceries that used to be $800 a week, are now, or $800 a month are now $5,000 a month, and just crazy numbers.
It is.
And there's only one way you can pay it, and that's to cover the costs and take everything there. I'm going to get into more of the personal side with you in a minute. I'm going to take a break just a moment. We'll be right back.
Heroes Child is a nonprofit organization that is on a mission to help community heroes with the everyday cost of childcare. We know that heroes like our military personnel, first responders, and foster families need care for their children. Heroes Child awards these families scholarships that go to help pay their childcare tuition. Use the QR code on the screen to donate now or visit heroeschild.org today.
Hello, I'm John Ramsey. I'm back here with Doug Crosby. We've been talking about the growth of the county. We've been talking about restaurants, but let me turn the page here to a little more of the personal stuff. Have you traveled much, Doug? Where do you like to go?
My wife and I love to travel. Unfortunately, running a restaurant and being a county commissioner makes it really difficult.
No days off.
It does. However, we have a daughter that lives in Connecticut who has her first son.
Wow.
And we try to get up there as much as possible.
What part of Connecticut?
Waterbury.
Waterbury.
Yeah,
I'm not very familiar with it.
My son-in-law is in a surgical residency in Waterbury, and they have their first son, and April gets up there more than I do.
That's great.
But that's so we try to save our travels to be able to go and see them as much as
I have
possible.
a daughter just moved to Boston, right outside of Boston. She's in a little tiny town called Sandwich. Her husband is in construction, and they're building a new veterans center on a National Guard base there. So he's right out of Cape Cod, like Hyannisport and all that.
Right.
So I told myself I'm coming up and to see them and all that. They just moved a couple of months ago. It's a little different life up there in Connecticut.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, we've had several trips up there, and
it's beautiful.
Beautiful, and the people are wonderful. I mean, I've had good experiences.
That's wonderful. So they're liking it up there, huh?
They are. It's not home, of course.
Yeah.
The cold is the hardest thing for them to get over is the cold.
It's been a brutal winter for them.
This has been a really cold. This is the coldest one yet since they've been there. But
you ever travel abroad, or have you went out of the country?
Very little. We've been to the Dominican and a couple of places,
cruise places and stuff.
But no, we're not huge travelers.
Yeah. What do you do as for a hobby, or do you ever get to play golf or fish or anything? Or
I love all of those things, but no.
You love all of
we have a boat,
yeah.
and we do a lot of boating during the warm during the spring and summer, and if we're usually 2 days of the weekend on our boat, because that's where April loves it. I love it. It's kind of our happy place, and I mean, why not?
It's a beautiful area.
It is. I mean, it's just a perfect
that's
place.
why when I talk about my bucket list, I don't have any beaches on my bucket list because I live at the best beach. I don't think there's a beach prettier than Panama City Beach.
I agree with you.
And I just don't. So, I mean, you talk about Hawaii and stuff like that. I mean, I guess, I'd like to see it somewhat, but I don't think the beach can beat our beach.
I agree with you.
I just,
completely.
I've been to California and the Atlantic, Jacksonville, and all that, and it's pretty, but it's not as pretty as Panama City
The East
Beach.
Coast is not the Gulf Coast. That's for sure.
It's just not. It's not. It's a special place. It
is.
really is. So you like to golf. You don't get to golf. You like to fish. So when you go boating, it's more or less just pleasure cruising and stuff.
Yes,
That's kind of me. I'm not a big fisherman. I like it, but I don't want to do it all the time.
If I get invited to go offshore, I love to go offshore.
Yeah.
But that's a couple times a year.
Yeah,
Usually, but we're every weekend during the summer on our boat.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. And you said April is an interior designer.
That's correct.
She always done that? She likes that, huh?
Well, I guess probably last 15, 17 years.
Wow.
And she just has a natural gift for it.
It's one of those things you just have to have a gifting for.
You do.
You just have to. You have to see it, or you have to see what other people can't see. There's some things like that.
It is definitely a gift.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Did she do the restaurant and all that?
When we did the remodel, she did. Yeah,
wow.
She's on the fly, because literally we were trying. Well, when we knew we had some people lined up, we had about 2 weeks a window to get this. So she was all over the place, pulling stuff together, wallpaper, flooring, and all those things, and colors, and throwing it together there. But that's second nature to her.
Yeah. Who would you tell, if I had to say, who was the biggest inspiration in your life? Maybe the biggest had the biggest effect on you. Who would it be?
I have quite a few, I would say, but honestly, right now, I would say April has one of the biggest effects of my life. She is a very strong person.
That's great.
She loves Jesus.
That's wonderful.
And she's her strength is good for me.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I don't know any other way to say it. It's good for me. When you go home, you have someone there that strength. And we talk about most every issue. And she gives me a perspective. Now, sometimes those conversations are painful. I'll admit
Helps
that.
you see
and
it
a lot
from
of
a
times
different
I
side.
wish I hadn't brought it up. But then when I get back and reviewing in my mind the conversation, and I'm so glad that I did, because that perspective is something.
She lets you see it from a different side.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. Because, when you only see it from your side, you're one-sided.
You are one-sided, and we all tend to be that way.
We do.
Especially if something we're really passionate about. We tend to think our way's the only right way, but there's another side. There's always another side. One of my favorite lines from the 2016 presidential campaign was said by, of all people, Mike Pence. And the line that he said about Donald Trump, he's talking about him, he says, he said, there's one thing that I don't care how good an actor you are or who you are, you can't fake good kids.
Right.
You can't fake good kids. And, I see your kids, and I know them all. And I really admire you. And I think that when you see people's kids successful and kind and all the things that your kids are, that speaks a lot for you and April. It really does.
I agree. Yeah. And I tell you, April has made my parenting job easy. She does. She's on top of everything. She makes me look good.
Yeah, but I tell you, I know you're a girl dad, and I'm a girl dad. I got 4 daughters, and it takes a special heart to be a girl dad.
I wouldn't change it for anything.
I wouldn't either.
Lord knew exactly what I needed.
Yeah,
and that's what He put into my life, and it's shaped who I am. But I tell you, I'm proud of all 3 of my daughters. They're phenomenal people.
Yeah, they are. You got a great little family. I love the painting you have there in the restaurant when they're little, and
absolutely.
And I was in there with my family one night, and I told my Olivia, she's 16 now, I told him who that was and all, and she says, "Really?" I said, "They're little." I said, "If I pulled up a baby picture of you, you wouldn't look the same either." I said, "They've grown. You know them as grown-ups." But I said, "But that's when they were little," which I just think is sweet. I think it's wonderful.
It is.
What about reading? You read anything? You like to read anything?
Unfortunately, the reading that dominates my life now is contracts. And
terrible stuff.
It's been eye-opening for me, but it's a learning process, and I think it's
a lot of homework with county commission.
A lot of homework, a lot of reading.
Yeah.
We get weekly updates from not only from the county attorney, but from the county manager, and all those updates. Any projects going on, they'll attach the entire contract. It may be 600 pages.
Oh my goodness! I can't imagine.
And don't get me wrong, it's impossible to read all. It's just not possible. But you learn how to read through in the points that you're looking for to find those things in the contract that you have learned from experience that are important to make sure that they're there or not there, whatever the situation is. So That's all usually on an iPad, and that's what I do in the evenings. I sit down
I cannot imagine.
and do my reading, because if you get behind, it's impossible to catch up.
Yeah,
It really
I guess
is.
so. I
It
guess
really
so.
is.
And you want to stay as informed as you can be and help people
It's
any way you
imperative.
can.
You have to.
You know, does it take more time than you expected it to?
A lot more time than I
A
thought
lot
it
more
would.
time. It's a full-time job, isn't it?
It literally is a full-time
So
job.
you've added a full-time job to your full-time job.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
That's rough. That's rough on the family.
It is, and that was one of the timing was
Yeah.
by design.
Yeah.
My youngest
Yeah.
is now just left the house, and she's at school, and that timing was, we waited till she was out of high school before
Yeah.
I really thought about doing this.
Yeah.
And it was with April's full support.
That's great.
I would never undertaken this without her support.
So you feel like if you had a crystal ball and you were looking at the future, politics can be a big part of your future? You like it?
I like, you know what? This sounds like a line, but I don't care for the politics part. I really like the job.
Yeah.
And I know they go hand in hand. I
Yeah.
understand that part, but I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't want to sit here and tell you no, because I don't know what the Lord has in store for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
This may be the end of my line. This may
Yeah.
be this job, and I would be fine with that if that's what it, if that's
What
it
about
has
the
in store for me.
restaurant? Do you ever see an end to that, or
I don't. I really.
it'd be hard to give it up, wouldn't it?
Well, I would really love to have someone who knows come along that that
Take a little bit off you, maybe.
or that would be interested in it and love it the way that I do
Yeah.
now, because it took a long time, but I do love it now.
I've had people ask me, because I'm 35 years at the church now, and people say, are you ever going to give it up? And of course I am. And I believe that I'll see the person, and I hope I will. I don't know many preachers that do good with giving it up, because it's your baby. You put
Right.
your whole life into it, and it's very hard to turn it loose. And I can imagine a business that you've grown it, you've babied it, you made it work. You know all the little turns and places to make it work, and it'd be hard to turn it over to somebody.
It would, but hopefully at some point.
Yes, at some point, just to give you a break, just to give you a break.
Yeah, it's been good to me, and I say that restaurant business is difficult because it is, but it has been good to me, and it's just through the Lord's grace that it has been, because the number of failures in the restaurant industry is staggering.
It is,
and the number that fail in the first year, almost the same number fail in the second year.
Really?
It's really and I know that I had nothing special to do with that. It was just by His will, genuinely by His will and His guidance.
Y'all are closed on Sundays.
We are.
Like Chick-fil-A.
Correct.
How's that? Have you ever thought about opening?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No,
Good.
won't
Good.
do it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of things. I have a conviction about allowing, if my employees go to church, or if they are, that I will not be that stumbling block. That's for sure.
That's good.
And also, for me personally, it's the time that I need. That's the only day that my phone doesn't ring.
Yeah.
I mean, literally,
Yeah.
And then there are some things that have to be done when you're closed. There's a handful of things that have to be done.
Yeah.
That I have vendors coming in that have to do stuff when you aren't,
I grew up in a time. I don't. How old are you?
56 tomorrow.
So I'm 57. So we're about the same age. And I remember when I was a kid, nothing was open on Sundays.
Right.
I mean, we grew up in a time where the whole world shut down on Sunday, and you had 3 channels on television. You didn't You didn't have 300.
And you were the
digital.
remote.
You had one phone. It was tethered to a wall. Which my little Olivia says, I don't understand. She said, how was your phone hooked to a wall? I'm saying, all phones used to be hooked to the wall. There was no such thing.
There was no such thing.
So, I said, so there was one phone, there was 3 channels, everything was closed. Church was the fun thing to do on Sunday, because you got to see people and interact. And I think we lost some of that with everything's open, everything's going, and there's other things to do, and people are choosing to do things other than church.
I know we have lost.
And it's sad.
And you remember coming, I look forward to Sunday lunch. My mother
Yeah.
would always
Yeah.
put something in the oven or whatever before we left for church, and we'd come home and we'd have this. It was always I have fond memories of having Sunday lunches.
My daughter was surprised that things were closed on Christmas. I said, what are you thinking? I think everything. She said she was going to go to the store. I said, nothing's open. She said, really? I said, no, nothing's, it's Christmas Day.
Well.
And I said, things used to be like this on Sunday. She said, every week? I said, every week.
Absolutely.
Everything used to be
and
closed
you
on
planned
Sunday.
ahead.
Yeah.
You did everything you needed to do on Saturday or one day before. Well, at Granny's, we're closed on Sundays and Christmas Day.
Yeah, good.
Other than that,
Yeah.
we're open. We're open Thanksgiving Day. To my wife's,
What?
she's not happy with that.
She don't like that.
She does not like that. However, it is a really big day for us.
Yes,
And
I guess so, because not everybody has a big
and not a
family
lot of
either.
people have. And honestly, I believe that it's actually a form of service, because there's a lot of people that wouldn't be able to prepare a meal.
You know, Walmart is closed one day a year. It's Christmas Day. They close at 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and they stay closed till 6 p.m. Christmas Day.
Right.
It's the only 24 hours they're closed, and I think it's good. I mean, I think it's good. Doug, you've been so interesting to talk to, and I appreciate what you're doing with the county. And I love your fried chicken at Granny's. So, I mean, it's always,
too, unfortunately.
it's one of my favorites. And I just appreciate what you've done. And you got a beautiful family, and appreciate what you're doing in our
John,
community.
thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming
so
on.
much.
Appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.